The Navajo begin measuring a lifetime from a child's first laugh. If, within the tribe of comedians, the clock started when someone gets his first laugh, Sid Caesar could be quite precise about when and where his own life began. It was in 1933, and he was 10 or 11 at the time. He was on stage at Nathaniel Hawthorne Junior High School in Yonkers, New York, poised to play Saint-Saëns' Swan on his saxophone. He'd been blinded momentarily when the spotlight fell on his music stand, so he moved it, and the audience laughed. When the spotlight followed him, he moved it again, and there were more laughs. He kept doing it, and every time he did, the laughs got louder. It was the first time I felt people laughing, and I could make them laugh, he remembered. Laughter and a sense of control in his young life. Both had been in short supply. Caesar hadn't begun talking until he was 3. That words came so begrudgingly to him made him devise alternative means of communicating. Facial expressions, gestures, sounds, silence. From the start, he was different. He seemed impaired. I used to worry about his future, one of his teachers later recalled. If he really applied himself, she thought, maybe he could be a truck driver. We used to call him Silent Sidney, recalled a machinist who'd rented one of the rooms upstairs from the restaurant Caesar's father ran. He wouldn't even say good morning. He would just look right past you. In grade school, he'd been consigned to an opportunity class for impaired children. "Hey, dopey!" his classmates would shout at him. At the height of his fame, journalists trying to decipher Caesar invariably returned to his childhood, with Caesar gladly escorting them through it. Caesar himself feels that he was driven into comedy by a desire to express in some other character feelings he could not otherwise safely reveal. A profile in Redbook concluded. "I grew up angry," he told the magazine. "I kept quiet because I didn't know what might happen if I let loose." His father, Max, had come from Poland as a boy. His mother, Ida, arrived from Odessa when she was a baby. Later, everyone, including Caesar's family, assumed his perfect and perfectly pronounceable surname had been made up, cleaned up, shortened from something else, or conferred upon them at Castle Garden. In fact, steerage records show that when Caesar's paternal grandmother pulled into New York Harbor in 1881, the family name was Caesar. In Yiddish it means sweet person. Only the spelling was changed. Born on September 8, 1922, Sidney was the couple's 4th and final son, 15 and 10 years younger than his brothers Abe and Dave. Another brother had died in childhood. "I was what they called a make-up child," Caesar later wrote, meaning, I assume, that they were mad at each other for a long time, then made up, and I was the result. Caesar's mother, who was considerably taller than her husband, bequeathed her height to her sons. She was the more tender-hearted of his parents, the one who would sing to him in Yiddish and feed him oatmeal. He grew up in exile from exile, not in Jewish Brooklyn or the Bronx or the Lower East Side, places where Jews could delude themselves into thinking they were the center of the universe, but 20 miles or so away in largely industrial polyglot Yonkers. With his parents struggling to make a living at the luncheonette and rooming house they ran, he got little attention from either and learned to steer clear. "The first lesson I learned at my mother's knee was to stay out of the way of her flying feet, or I'd get a belt from my father's hand," he recalled. His parents packed him off to school at age 4, to get him out of their way, he said. Around that time, Sid later remembered, his father put him on a train with a sign saying, Asbury Park, the New Jersey town where his maternal grandparents lived, and to which his mother had stalked off during her latest marital spat, around his neck. He arrived just in time to spot her on the New York-bound train pulling out across the platform. "If my mother and father had beaten me with baseball bats, they couldn't have hurt me half as much," he recalled.
To keep listening to this audiobook,